Hello everyone, dear friends. This is another installment of Simple Repairs. I try to create a new series in this column for you every month. During this time, I have time to accumulate simple but no less interesting repairs. Today I'll tell you about a Kärcher steam cleaner. It stopped turning on. We'll figure out why this happened. Can German technology really break down too? Next we'll try to repair a soldering iron in Fnirsi. It works, but for some reason the screen doesn't display anything. That's the problem. We'll figure out what's wrong and fix the defect. And finally, at the end of this video, I'll tell you about repairing a Montana watch. I guess you could consider it a retro watch. I had one of those when I was a kid. It's a pretty old model. The watch has an issue with displaying some of the tens of second segments. We'll see what can be done about it. So dear friends, let's begin our collection with repairing a Kärcher steam cleaner model SC1. The box says the device is made in Germany, which means it's reliable and high quality. But it also seems to break down as the owner's steam cleaner simply stopped working at some point. Frankly, I don't use devices like this, so I'm figuring out how to operate this one as I go along. I understand that you need to add water to the device before turning it on. There's a special measuring cup for this. I fill the tank and screw on the lid. Then I connect the power supply. Apparently the device should be drawing significant power from the mains, but it isn't. The resistance at the plug contacts is in the mega ohms range, which essentially indicates an open circuit. The resistance value of the heating element should be the resistance, which is likely in the tens of ohms. Well, the defect is clear. Let's try to figure out the cause of the problem. To do this, I drain the water and unscrew the housing screws. As you can hear, some of the screws turn with a distinctive crunching sound. This indicates that some of the fasteners are broken. There's a problem with this mount and this one. Once the main defect is fixed, I'll try to figure out this problem too. Right now, I'm wondering if the power cable is intact and if one of the wires is broken. I'm testing the wires with a multimeter. This contact of the plug is fine, but this one is broken. The cable has two wires, brown and blue. The brown one is fine, but the blue one is broken. I didn't have to look far to find the break, as there's a hole in the cable near the limiter. And in the housing itself, you can see traces of soot from arcing in the cable. I've seen similar defects on hair dryers and other household appliances. To solve the problem in this case, it's enough to repair the break, that is, remove the limiter, then cut off the damaged section of the cable, then strip tin the wires and solder them together. You also need to insulate these soldering points to prevent any exposed wires. You can use electrical tape for this. I use heat release ring tubing and T7000 pattern glue for additional sealing, and next I install the cable stop and test the operation. Now both power wires ring. The heating element resistance is 44 ohms. Okay, I can reassemble the case, but I'm mindful of the broken fasteners. I'm repaired with 2-component epoxy glue. After the glue has hardened, I assemble the case. I tighten the mounting screws by hand to avoid accidentally over-tightening the delicate German fasteners. After assembly, I move on to testing. I pour in a portion of wood and connect the power supply. Now the power consumption is a full kilowatt. After about 3 minutes, the steam cleaner is ready for use. It works like a compressor gun, only this one shoots hot steam instead of air. By the way, I'm curious, is this device suitable for washing off flux residue from splats? Please let me know in the comments. Overall, it's a really fun device. I had a lot of fun playing with it. I didn't discover any additional defects during testing, and that's where the repairs ended. Let's move on to the next device. They sent me an unusual soldering iron, seemingly a derivative of the TS101 portable soldering iron. It's a Fnirsi HS01 model. For some reason, its screen stopped displaying an image. This soldering iron runs on a USB-C port. I connect the power supply to check for the defect. It's clear that power is only being drawn. The device seems to be working, but the screen is blank, a black void. Well, let's try to figure out what's wrong. First, I disassemble the case. Interestingly, the design doesn't include any screws for fastening, only double-sided tape and latches. And here's the board. I remove it. The display is soldered directly to the board. If I slightly wiggle the display cable, the image appears. So the problem is that the cable has come loose from the glass. In this case, the defect can be fixed by replacing the display with a new one. Unfortunately, I couldn't find an exact display with these part numbers, but I found another very similar one based on the similar one, based on the specifications. It has a 0.87 inch diagonal, a resolution of 12,832 pixels, and a 14-pin ribbon cable. I desoldered the old display and soldered the new one. I think you shouldn't have any problems soldering. If you have problems with the conduct sticking together, just apply more flux and brush off excess solder with the tip of the soldering iron. I rinsed off the flux and checked the work under a microscope. The soldering quality is good. There are no short circuits between adjacent contacts. That's how it should be. Well, let's see if the display works. I connect the power. There is an image, but some of the information on the right is not displayed. I still haven't figured out what's going on. It's as if the resolution of the new display is slightly lower than the one on the factory display, although the specifications are the same. And because of this, you can't see, for example, the temperature value you want to set on the tip. I told the owner that the display arrived a little wrong, but I don't know how to find a display that will work 100% just like it did from the factory. The only option is to order and try different options. The owner decided it wasn't worth wasting time, especially since he could still use the soldering iron because the screen showed the current temperature of the tip, so he decided to leave it as is. If you know which display will definitely fit this soldering iron and work properly, please drop a link in the comments. Now we'll move on to the last repair for today. A retro repair. Montana watch. The problem is, the lid won't stay on, and some segments on the tens of seconds display aren't working correctly. On the 0 display, these two segments don't work. Everything is fine with the 1. With the 2, a couple of these segments are hard to see. The 3 is also defective. The 4 is defective. After the 5, there's a 7 right away. The 6 is missing, and so on. Let's see why this problem arose. Obviously, there's a defect in the dial. The contacts need to be checked. I disconnect the battery and remove the electronics unit from the case. There's dirt on the case, which needs to be. Next, I unscrew the screws and remove the board. I examine its condition under a microscope. The contacts for the LCD display on this side are fine, but there are issues with oxidation in this area. This is obviously due to a battery's leak since the battery is located slightly higher. I need to clean this up. I clean off traces of oxidation with a brush and degreaser, and I scrape off any hard deposits with tweezers. Now the contacts are in good condition. I can reinsert the board. I connect the battery and check the operation. The display is now defect-free. I can reassemble everything in the case. An additional problem has arisen with the piezo buzzer. It has fallen off the cover. I fix it with T7000 glue and glued it around the perimeter to prevent moisture from getting onto the board through the hole in the cover. To secure the cover itself, I applied a few drops into the gap between the cover and the case, and that completed the repair. I'm using the watch myself as I bought it for myself to relive the old days. But this watch isn't just sitting on a shelf, I use it as an alarm clock. Well, dear friends, that's the last repair for today, eh? And it's time to say goodbye. Thank you all for your attention and see you in other issues. Until then.